What's up? You fuck. Okay. Fuck it. It's your man Marv Glover.
Oh boy, wow. It doesn't he always mess up the thing, but I might as well let the people know who I am. If you didn't know, get familiar. I'm the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis.
And welcome to the Hold My Nugget podcast, where we talk 50% sports, 50% real shit,
100% of the time.
And if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick. It's episode 9.
I'm the one.
It's episode 9.
All right.
Because usually when we welcome the people here, we let them know what episode number it is. But evidently we ain't talking about that right now, are we?
Why are you doing this?
Doing what?
Where's all this energy?
Where's the energy?
I'm the energy guy, and you're the calm.
Well, if you want to know where the energy came from, it came to my attention that across from me was a limited edition, exclusive, not inclusive.
It's your boy. Come on.
You're mad annoying Marv Glover hoodie. See, I purchased about 11. I paid for none of them. So I'm trying to figure out why I was not exposed to the limited edition hoodie.
You know, it's a winner's circle thing. You know what I'm saying? When your team is 2-0, you get limited edition stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know you don't. You know, I mean, you the reverse version of it. So I don't know if it was opposite day, you'd have something, right? But we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. But
I must commend you. Usually you don't have any wit.
You know what I'm saying?
To retort when somebody comes at you. But of course he would put it towards the teams because that's really all he got.
You see my
boy?
But
outside of that,
you see my boy. Did you see my boy? Big
see
Dak,
who?
Big Dak.
Big
a
who?
Big Zeke. A big Coop. A big me. I know you see it. I know. Listen, Gallup out. We gonna talk about that, but it don't matter. And we got the Dolphins on Sunday. Clap City. That's 3-0, right? And after that, we got the Saints. That's 4-0, all right? Because Drew Brees ain't playing. Thank you, God. And the secondary, it's garbage. It's garbage.
So Clap City. That's what you got
Clap
going on?
City.
All right. Hey, if committee is your thing. That's your business. But we're talking about that right now. See, what we talking about is some in the NFC East.
Yes, sir.
It's not the Cowboys.
Unfortunately.
It's not the Redskins.
Yeah, well,
it's not the Eagles.
Disgusting.
It's a little bit of the Giants.
Yeah.
But it's what situation's going on with the back of quarters.
Yeah.
You see, there's been a change.
Indeed there has.
All right. See, Eli, I'm the 5th best athlete in my family. Manning, he has now just been benched.
Why'd you just say it with a lisp? It sounded like it.
It did.
It came out a little lispy.
I was born a little bit different. I mean, I wasn't, but we're going with that right now.
Best friends with Mike Tyson.
So, hey, perhaps. Chocolate vanilla swirl. So whatever the case was, you got to change at quarterback.
Yo, for those who don't know, if you didn't know, I'm going to make you know, so now you know. Starting this upcoming Sunday, Daniel Jones will replace Eli Manning as the starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants. Going up against Tampa. I don't know who's at home, but it don't really fucking matter. Tampa's at home. Mm-hmm. Eli on the bench, man. Eli Manning, the golden child.
Is he?
We'll figure it out eventually. I don't know. He from the first family of the NFL, huh?
Yeah.
Eli Manning, he gonna be riding that bench. You seen the interview? He looked hurt.
Oh, he should.
He looked hurt.
He looked a little bit less hurt than when McAdoo had benched him for Geno. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like an internal feel.
Yeah, you can see
because it came the day after Odell just went off inside the stadium. So he's like, it's like what happened on the episode of Simpsons when Bart was pointing out how Lisa broke Ralph's heart.
I remember.
And you could just see it end up in small pieces. So that's what Eli feeling right now. He's singing a whole lot of Miley Cyrus, I miss you. And that's going to be the starting offense. He's going to be running the scout team.
Yes, sir.
It's a shame, man.
Man, this, if you're a Giants fan, it's a little bit of an emotional connection to it. But, you know, fact of the matter is, it is what it is. If you didn't see it coming, you was blind to Stevie Wonder. My question to you, my brother, is this. What are your thoughts initially on this move?
Long overdue.
Okay.
Long overdue. Eli is a lot like laundry on a Tuesday.
Okay.
He's washed. It's been clipped.
Where do you get these
for some time? All right, it's been clipped for a while, man. Get the old Microsoft Word out. Get the little paper clip that usually help you out, and that'll show you Eli Manning. The man been clipped for some time. Right. Now, don't tell me about no pieces. He don't got nobody around him. The man can't throw 40 yards down the field. There are isolated plays in which he could do it, but consistently throughout the game, it ain't happening. You put him on the Kansas City Chiefs, and you expect him to, it's 4th down. Tyreek down there somewhere. He can't do it. It's gonna get picked at the 20. They had the ball at the 18. Yeah. He don't got it. It was long overdue. He's got benched, and he got to ride off into the sunset. That being retirement. Now, He can't ask for a trade because I don't know who's going to be willing to go pick up Eli Manning for the myth and the fraud.
He's getting 17 mil,
and the
right?
sham that he is, huh?
How much is he getting? Like 17?
I have absolutely no clue. Whatever the case is, it's about to be clipped because he's about to retire. If it's the rest of the guaranteed money, pay him his money. But time to go off into the sunset. You ain't getting the as Draymond Green once said to Paul Pierce. Yeah. You ain't Kobe.
Yep.
Well, in the case of Eli Manning,
You're not Peyton.
you ain't Peyton.
You ain't Peyton.
So it's about time you pack your bags. And you already on the L train because y'all 0-2. You can listen to some New Edition, and it's over. You better make sure it's sunny days, all right?
Why would you sing your R&B song?
Yeah.
On the top of my R&B song.
No,
you were supposed to keep it going.
No. You was gonna continue singing.
Right.
I was gonna put a pun of a different song.
Got you.
I put
And
the
then
chorus so people know where it's at. See,
Got
that's
you.
humor, all right? See, there's a difference.
Why you
There's
trying to wait? What was that? Was that a shot?
Huh?
Was that a shot?
Absolute. So basically, 9mm. But
okay.
took a shot, all right? We got different kinds of humor, all
We do.
right?
Indeed, we do.
See, over here, I can't even do it with a straight face because I'm not even one to brag. I can't do it. I can't do it with a straight face. You know what I was going to do? I was going to do the whole followers through it. But I can't do it. I was like, that's the humor of somebody who got more to take K with the swipe up option. And I was gonna get into like the analytics of what somebody would.
Someone's about to break down my whole Instagram.
But I can't do it. I'm too humble of a guy. If you had it and I didn't,
well, I'll never
you'd
have
been able to do it.
I'm not the delivery.
Right. See, if you're gonna use, all right. You know what? You're not gonna butcher my gimmick.
Dividend.
All right. Well, it's not even a gimmick because this is who I am as a person. I wake up. I take a shower with the diligent vigilant
meticulous analytical methodical deed.
Stop
Marv Glover.
No.
I'm
That's
taking
gimmick
your shit.
That's
I'm taking
gimmick
it.
infringement.
I'm taking it.
Play if you want. You gonna wake up with a sign in your clavicle.
I might just
play if you want.
Let's stay on track.
We're going to stay on track. But see, what we're talking about is Eli Manning, right?
Indeed.
There's been a lot of questions about this man's legacy. And I believe he's one of the individuals in the NFL who's been able to pull the ultimate genjutsu on people outside of just Giants fans. Because you've been able to you can convince your own team of your greatness when you bring in Lombardis. But other people who tend to believe you're greater than what you actually are, they all got caught in individual powers. Now, the question going around is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? What do you think?
Before you get into that, just to add on to what you were saying earlier, Eli Manning turkey bacon, yo. It's over. It's just like you said, it's long overdue. The man was cooked. I think he's 38 now, going on 39. This should have been happened. Quite frankly, they shouldn't have picked up his option. Like I said, I think I saw something about 17 mil. Shouldn't have been here. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm being 110% honest, I'm actually surprised that they brought in Daniel Jones this early because the way they was talking about Eli, they was making it seem like they was about to start the man for the next 2 to 4 years. They was talking about him like, Patrick, I don't see what's wrong with Eli. Eli, it's perfectly fine. We have to. No. That man got to go. He washed up. You understand what I'm saying?
Take a shower.
Figure it out. But get the fuck up on out of here. Now, granted, given the way I consider the Mara family, and I look at them the same way I kind of look at like the Rooney family. The way that they run their organization is very, it's first class family ish type thing. So I never really expected them to cut him. I think that given what he's done for the team, which we're going to get into in the next discussion, they want him to leave on his own accord. I understand. I get that. The respect value. But at the same time, it's like, my guy, like, we're also in the business of winning football games. You have a generational talent in Saquon Barkley behind that backfield. The shelf life for a running back is not that long. God forbid he gets a catastrophic injury before you're able to capitalize on it, put a good quarterback next to him, and make a run at another Super Bowl. Fact of the matter is, Eli Manning shoulda, woulda, coulda. He done. But none, all right, in our culture, as we call it.
Yes.
He is fritai. He's gone. You understand what I'm saying?
Now you're making me hungry.
So, and I'm actually happy to see this because now within the NFC East, and I've talked to you about this off screen, now you have a group of young quarterbacks in each team in the NFC East, even though Dwayne Haskins hasn't gotten started yet.
They're waiting for Case Keenum's ultimate
He's coming soon.
Some people they're either waiting for the benching. I feel as if it's probably going to come around week number 6.
Really?
Because it's not that Case Keenum's not playing well.
Because
he's playing all right. He's playing all right. He's doing his thing. But it's not translating in wins.
Right.
So it's going to end up being the first thing that can go wrong for Keenum if he has a 2-interception game. Oh, it's over.
Oh, no, it's Clip
City. It's over. So,
Clip City.
People are looking. You're going to have a ton of different young quarterbacks in the league getting their start. It's about to be over for them. They don't care what you did in Minnesota.
Right.
What have you done for me lately?
Right.
So I think it's only a matter of time.
So, you look around, you got, of course, my guy Big Dak in Dallas. You got Dwayne Haskins on the way. Now Daniel Jones steps in. They got some guy in Philadelphia, Carson, Mike Pence. I don't know. Fuck it. It don't matter. But fact of the matter is, I I'm very happy about this move for Daniel Jones. I'm very interested to see what he's going to do. I think we could both agree, and like I said, we're going to get into the whole Hall of Fame thing later. Yeah. But just to close this part of it out, I think that this season for him is just going to be about him feeling it out and learning, right? Learning the game, making that full transition into playing on a professional level and things like that.
I agree. That is indeed what this season's going to be, but I'm not just going to let you disrespect Carson Wentz like that. Call the man Mike Pence. Now, he does electrify the defenses, but when he goes out there and plays football, he plays exceptional football. He may have been hurt. He may have been hurt, but don't disregard Carson Wentz, all right? That man, Pennsylvania, is real. That man can play football.
A big Dak, a big Zeke,
but that's
a big Coop, a big me. I know two and all right, let's stay focused. To answer your original question, like you said, right? Big Dak, big Zeke. Like you said, there has been a lot of talk, especially since we now consider this the end of the Eli Manning era in New York. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? My answer to that question is simple. Yes, but with an asterisk. You understand? Mm-hmm. I believe that Eli Manning's Hall of Fame candidacy it hinges solely on the story and his legacy in terms of what he's done for the New York Football Giants, right? But when you look at him as an individual player, I personally believe that when you look at what the numbers tell you and what he's shown you throughout his entire career, and if you're going by just that, no, the man's not a Hall of Famer. You see, when you talk about Eli, what do we think about? We think about a guy that's been in the NFL for 15 seasons, started 14 of those seasons, and ever since he started, I think it was back in like 2000, whatever.
4.
Yeah, there you go. Hasn't missed a game. I think he's even notorious, like people call him like Iron Man or some shit like that, right? And within those 14 seasons, right, that he started, he's been able to deliver 2 Super Bowl championships to New York Football Giants, along with win 2 MVPs in both the Super Bowls that he played against. But even more than that, the story that everyone talks about when we mention these Super Bowls, it's not just about the Super Bowls that he's won. It's about who he's beaten, right? One season it was the undefeated Patriots, and then again later on. So when we talk about Eli Manning, we talk about a guy who's class act, class personified, a part of the first family, which also I think plays a big role in it too because he comes from the Manning tree, right? 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs. And when you look at that for a lot of people is more than enough to guarantee and certify his Hall of Fame candidacy. But when we look at everything else, I'm sorry, is it sacrilegious for me to say that this man has been nothing more than an average quarterback throughout his entire career? Because I believe so. Because when you look at it, up until this point, Eli Manning's win-to-loss record, I think, is like 116 to 116. He's 500 on his career. Yep. That's 8-8, people. I'm not. That's just what the numbers tell you. You understand what I'm saying? And outside of those 2 Super Bowl runs, do you understand? Do we not want to sit here and address the fact that every single other time that Eli Manning has made it to the playoffs, he's never made. Has he won a playoff game?
He's one and done outside of those 2 runs. He's one and done.
2005, 2006, 2008, 2016, a couple years ago, where they got shellacked. I think it was Carolina.
No. It was Green Bay.
Okay, it was Green Bay in front, where Odell was just fucking up in it.
Yeah.
Right? Do you
His
understand?
hands with a decoration, but he was dancing it up in Miami.
You understand what I'm saying? The man has been fairly average throughout his entire career. So when you talk about Hall of Fame candidacy, for me personally, I just don't see it. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer at all. I'd love to say yes with the asterisk, but I don't think he is at all. Because if we talk about just Super Bowl championships, well, hell, Phil Simms should be in the Hall of Fame. He's got 2 Super Bowl championships and a Super Bowl MVP.
Yep.
You got Jim Plunkett. He's a 2-time He's a 2-time Super Bowl championship. Why is he not in the Hall of Fame? Right. If just going and winning Super Bowls should put you in the Hall of Fame, well, Joe Flacco will be enshrined soon.
And I'm going to get to
Trent Dilfer will be enshrined very soon. Hell, Jeff Hostetler might as well go into the Hall of Fame too for taking the Giants in 1990 to the Super Bowl. So whatever I see from people talking about what a Super Bowl championship, well, look who they played against. Let's take into perspective how those games went. 17-14, right? 21-17. In those games, the first game, Eli Manning threw 1 touchdown to Plaxico Burress, who was completely wide open. Yep. Okay, he had less coverage than sprint. He was more wide open than a Kardashian pair of legs at a Mandingo party. This man had no coverage at all.
Yes, sir.
And that game, playing against that Patriot team that was 18-0, they were at that time the most prolific offense in history. They got held to 14 points.
Yep.
They got held to 14 points. Why do we just ignore the fact that that defense had Brady on the run the entire game? And Brady took him down the field and scored, and all they needed was a miracle catch from Tyree. So let's go with that. All right, whatever. He's got that Super Bowl. Was it impressive? Did he have one of those prolific performances in the Super Bowl? No, because outside of that final drive, if the Giants were to win, would you even give it to Eli?
There you go.
Then the second Super Bowl, the Manningham catch.
Yep.
I'll give Eli this. That second Super Bowl run, he played his butt off. 2011 was his best season by far.
Okay.
I will give him that. And he played his butt off.
Right.
But again, in that Super Bowl, that defense came through once again. But Eli, ultimately, that pass to Manningham, I will give you that. He played his butt off. He earned that MVP. That was real. That was no fluke. That was real.
Right.
But outside of those 2 seasons, again, never won a playoff game. He led the league in picks 3 different times. Nobody has ever showed up and watch this man on the depth chart, watch this man on film and say, yo, Eli Manning puts the fear of God in us. Never. It's never been like that. With the Giants, he's only had 4 good seasons. And outside of that, everything else has been piss poor.
Yep.
You could talk about, well, he's top 10 in every passing category. Well, this is a passing league.
Yeah.
If we go by the same rate that we're moving at right now, by the time Matthew Stafford retires, if he plays 18 years, he will be top 5 in all categories.
Right.
Matt Ryan will be top 5 in every single category.
Right.
Are we going to call them both Hall of Famers? Matt Ryan, absolutely.
Right.
Matthew Stafford, are we going to?
Right.
Just by numbers alone? Now, with the Super Bowl championships, it's not as if this person was the sole reason as to why they won. No, it was a collective. 2011, by all means. But 2007, the defense played more of a role than Eli did.
Right.
And throughout all of the Giants seasons, they've only had, 6 winning seasons, and he's only won his division twice, maybe once, in all of those years. So how can you, who constantly lose, you're a 500 quarterback in this era of quarterbacks? Don't compare him to Joe Namath and all the other stuff. In this era of quarterback, he's not a Hall of Famer.
And now and just to add on to what you're saying, we when we talk about stats, like you said, this is a man that's led the league in interceptions on 3 different occasions. Do you understand that throughout Eli Manning's entire tenure being the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants, not once has he ever led the league in passing yards or passing touchdowns?
Never.
Has there, and this is a question that we really have to ask ourselves, has there ever, in the entire time that this man's been starting and playing in the NFL, has there ever been a point in time in his career where you could look at Eli, point at him and be like, that's the best quarterback in the league right now? Has there ever been a season? During the postseason, you can make an argument when you talk about one of those 2 runs. You understand what I'm saying? But there's never been a time where you could look and point at Eli and be like, that's the best. He's not even the best quarterback in his draft class. I think it's him. It's Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, and Big
Ben. He's not even the best quarterback in his draft class. The man has never even, he's never made an all-pro team.
Never.
Do you understand what I'm saying? For me, I think that, and I understand and I get it. You know, when you talk about sports, you got to remember at the end of the day, this is the entertainment industry, right? So more so than that, even though it's sports and it's about competition, it's also about what? The story.
Yep.
So whenever you talk about Eli, and I was reading a bunch of articles about this, every single sports writer that came to the defense of Eli, when they talked about the 2 Super Bowl wins, it was less about, once again, who won in Eli and that
John who they played against.
And it's about more about he beat one of the best football coaches and one of the best quarterbacks. When you have to justify someone's greatness using someone else's greatness, doesn't that put an asterisk next to it?
Yeah.
That really cannot be me.
And the fact that you have to debate whether this guy's a Hall of Famer or not and have to think about it, it's similar to what Skip Bayless says. There's Hall of Famers and there's Hall of Famers. And again, I'm happy you brought up his draft class because honestly, in my opinion, he's the 3rd best out of the
Agreed.
The 4 of them.
Agreed.
Or the 3 of them. And there's another quarterback who was drafted way later. I can't remember which one. No, not Carson Palmer. He came in 2002. But in the case of Phillip Rivers' numbers are better than Eli's.
Right.
And he started a year and a half or 2 years after Eli.
Right.
Big Ben out the gate better than Eli. Now, a lot of people are going to talk, well, with his Super Bowl championships, he hasn't won in 10 years. Yes. However, if you look at Big Ben's numbers from the end of last season to I'd say the beginning of this decade, he's a top 5 quarterback with numbers and everything.
Easy.
Just taking the entirety of everything.
Right.
Now, even if you don't want to do top 5, we could go with top 7. But can you say the same about Eli? Because if we go in top 10 over the course of the last decade, outside of 2011, what has Eli done? 1 season. That's it, 1 season. He's not even top 10 of his generation.
Right.
Between 2004 to 2000 now.
Right.
He's not.
Right.
It's foolish.
But
it's foolish.
Like I said, at the end of the day, even though I don't believe that he's going to get it. I don't believe that he deserves it. But like I said, given everything, right? The name, the story, the allure of it all, and the fact that once again, he stayed with one team his entire career, never missed a start. When you say all those things a lot, it sounds good, and I think that in itself will grant him his Hall of Fame candidacy. I don't know if he'll be first ballot.
No, without question. If he's first ballot, that's a slap in the face to Terrell Owens.
Right.
That's a slap in the face to Chris Carter.
Right.
That's a slap in the face to hell even Kurt Warner, because they had the same amount of good good seasons.
Right.
But hell, Kurt Warner, he did way more in
Right.
his 5 good seasons than Eli did in his 4.
Right.
Although he does have one more Super Bowl championship. But
Right. Man,
yeah.
fact of the matter is, man, if you're going off story, if you're going off of I guess being a class act guy, then yeah, most definitely Eli Manning definitely does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But if you're going off numbers, if you're going off what he's shown you as a player, as himself, as a talent and his ability and what he's done in terms of production, no, Eli Manning is not a Hall of Famer.
And that I'm happy you said that about production at
Right.
that position, because we've got some other quarterbacks where there's a lot of questions around the league as to what's going to transpire, because you got Cam Newton,
Right.
who's still active, but you can see he has looming injuries.
Right.
And you have Big Ben,
Right.
who's now out for the season. You got Drew Brees, who apparently Sean Payton has not ruled out his return being shorter than 6 weeks, because apparently they want to get a second opinion.
Really?
Yeah, this was
Okay.
reported, I believe, either last night or this morning. But he's not going to play this upcoming game. But these 3 quarterbacks who have been prolific for their individual teams. Now, the questions are, where do these teams go from here? What is going to happen with Big Ben?
Right.
Should he retire? He's going to be gone for the entire year. I believe he has to get Tommy John surgery or something like that.
Yes.
So what does he come back next year, or should he just consider retirement? Drew Brees, what happens now? You're 40.
Right.
Are you going to come back the same player with a messed up hand? And then Cam Newton. You've been struggling since your MVP season. Everybody's disregarded your 6-2 start last year where you were playing the best of your career until you ended up getting hurt.
Right.
So now there's questions of where or what
Right.
teams and organizations should do with these 3 names. First, starting with Cam, what are your thoughts?
Well, for me, I think that with Cam, I think Carolina should be looking to move on from him. And it's hard. I don't like saying it out loud because I'm still so attached to that season that he had, man. It was one hell of a season. But fact of the matter is, I think that when they drafted, I don't know if you know, they drafted a guy named Will Greer out of West Virginia. I forget one round. I think it was later on. He's an interesting talent. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think that was their first step in doing so. Fact of the matter is, in the NFL and just in sports in general, the best ability is availability. And you have a guy in Cam Newton where this city and this team, they rally around this guy and they love this guy. He's the face of not just that team, but quite frankly, that city. You understand what I'm saying? Cam Newton is Carolina. Let's just call it what it is. But the fact of the matter is that you have a guy who's 30 years old, going on to 31, and his injury history cannot be ignored. You understand what I'm saying? And when you pay attention to how he wins football games and what needs to happen moving forward, it's kind of his decline is inevitable because coming into the league before, he said he had problems with his injury history, there was always questions about his ability as a passer to put the ball down the field and accuracy and things of that nature, right? So we knew that he was going to win games the way that Cam wins games, which is his dual threat ability, his ability not just only move the ball down the field, but use his legs. Do you understand what I'm saying? But now, given his injury history and on top of the fact that he's older, it's really one option or the other. Either he has to stop playing like Cam plays and become more of a pocket passer and to avoid injury, right? But at the same time, the ability for him to do that isn't really there like that. So now that only affects the Carolina Panthers' ability to win games going down. So then if you don't do it that way, okay, let's just stick to the way that Cam Newton wins football games. Well, if you stick to the way that he plays and using his dual threat ability, now you put him at risk again to continue to get injured. And his condition and his physical body is only going to get worse. And on top of that, his size and his stature doesn't really make it any better for himself. You understand what I'm saying? This guy's like 6'6", 285 pounds. When Cam
kind of overshot it now.
You think so?
He's like 6'5",
he a big motherfucker.
285. You thinking of Zion?
How much you weigh?
250.
250. All right.
245.
Fact of the matter, this is a big dude. You understand what I'm saying? And Cam Newton doesn't get tackled the way that other players get tackled because a lot of quarterbacks ain't as big as Cam Newton. So when he gets hit, he gets hit. He gets dropped. He really gets dropped. So the wear and tear on his body. You understand that he just can't take it anymore. So what do you do, right? Do you have him continue to play the way he was playing before? for and continue to put his body at risk to ultimately he's trash? Or do you force him to be a pocket passer, something that he's never really been, right? And is only going to put your team in a position where y'all won't be in the best place to continue to win football games?
Well, for me, I would love to say move on from Cam, but I can't see it happening because in this particular Carolina offense, and the one thing that they have constantly failed Cam at is bringing him big receivers. Because Kelvin Benjamin was the only big receiver that he had. And I'm not talking about big as in production. I'm talking big as in size because Cam Newton notorious for overthrowing people. So if you have somebody who's huge and can go and get it, then that's great because the MVP season that he had, Kevin Benjamin was out for the year. His leading receiver was what, Ted Ginn?
I believe so, yeah.
It was Philly Brown. Yes. There was somebody else that was
Speedsters.
there. Yeah, and Greg Olsen pretty much carried the weight. And now Greg Olsen's foot, it's not looking well for him. So get Cam the right pieces. Bringing in Christian McCaffrey was sensational, but that's just backfield help and dumping the ball off sort of help. And we saw all year long this man was dinking and dunking the whole time. Get him a big receiver, and they've always failed at that. Now, here's what my disappointment with Cam is. Over this past offseason, he was working on his throwing motion. He was working on his mechanics. He was working on the fundamentals. And he hasn't showcased that in the first 2 weeks. Now, is there just muscle memory that hasn't been worked out yet as to why he's not performing the way we thought he would perform? How bad is the injury to his ankle at the current time? But as he said, and I was so happy that he took full responsibility, like, yo, I'm not going to blame this on my injury. I'm on the field. I got to perform. So it's up on him to bounce back because not only is the organization aware, the fan base is aware, the opposing team is aware, he is also aware. So now your back is once again up against that wall. He's got to find a way to bounce back. I have confidence that he will because that still is Cam Newton. And all in all, I understand all those blows to your body's going to hurt. But do not forget what got you where you are. When it's 4th and 1 and you're inside the 5 and the game is on the line and the coach is calling and say, yo, we're going to put you in motion as if you're going to go catch a pass, but we're really about to have McCaffrey try to run. You 6'5", 245. You know who you are. You know why you are Cam Newton. You stick with your guns and you go over the damn top.
Most definitely. And that brings me to another dude, your guy.
Oh, yes.
Big Ben Roethlisberger, right? Who's now out for the season. Something like you said, I think he's going to get like Tommy John injury on his elbow. Now he's out. What are your thoughts on all that?
It's an unfortunate injury, but it was long overdue. He's had a history of injuries, and all the top quarterbacks in the NFL, the elderly ones outside of Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning, they've all had a season in which, you know, they had to deal with injury. So it's happened. In the case of Big Ben, I think it's about that time.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's about that time.
Okay, when you say it's about that time, retire?
I think it's about that time to go and retire because I would love to see him stick around and, you know, aid the team out, but taking an entire season off and then having to return at the age of 39 when he comes back. Well, going into the age 39, it's going to be extremely tough. Now, the positive would be that he has all this time off, but the time away from the team, and I have the utmost confidence in Mason Rudolph. I'm just hoping he's there throughout the entire season to go and groom him. But in the case of Big Ben, you just led the league in passing. You had career highs in touchdowns. So it's not as if this man has completely fallen off. You led the league in interceptions as well, but that's a lot of forcing passes to try to win ball games. So I think he should probably just ride off into the sunset, just go and mentor, you know, Mason Rudolph. And it's not as if he's not capable of playing, but it's just where does your passion lie? He did say he fell in love with the game once again. So if he does return, I'm one of those fans who will welcome him with open arms. But if he does retire, I hold nothing against him, and it does nothing bad for his legacy because he's already cemented it.
I think, you know, for me personally, I'm kind of going in the direction that you're going, but just a very strong, sharp left. I think that it really hangs on the success that they have with Mason Rudolph. You understand what I'm saying? I think that if this year, if he's able to step his game up, Juju's able to step his game up, we're going to get into him and James Conner and all those other people, and they find a way to have a winning record closing out the season, or at least some way, somehow, if they were able to find a way to make it into the playoffs, I think that the Steelers front office should strongly consider trading him. But at the same time, going to the point that I made earlier, and the way that they run their organization, and just the way the Rooney family operates, I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, probably.
If we're talking like the fucking Patriots, he would have been gone. You understand what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, given what he's done for the organization, given how they run that team, I think that they want him, like you're saying, to go out on his own accord.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that would be the best thing, because the fact of the matter is, just to piggyback off the point that you made, this is an aging quarterback, right? He said he's about to be 39 years old now, and his injury history spans all the way back to, like, we're talking like 2010. I'm talking about like strained this and torn and dislocated that.
Hell, even back earlier before that, back to like 2005, he missed some games. That Super Bowl season too.
Right. This is a guy who has an extremely long injury history spanning, I don't even know, well, like you said, very, very long. And fact of the matter is, he is coming. I think he's, what was it, like back to back, like 5 straight Pro Bowls back to back from like 2014.
Yeah, from like 14 straight to, because he didn't go last year, although he led the league in passing. But because he led him in interceptions, they said, we're not going to let you go.
Got you.
Yeah.
But fact of the matter is, this still is when he's on the field. Even at this age, given everything, I still consider him the elite of the elite. But the fact of the matter is, and this goes back to something I remember I heard Max Kellerman talking about when the rumors came out about like Bill Belichick was looking to move Gronk to, I think, Detroit.
Yeah.
A year too early, better than a year too late.
Yeah.
Right? So fact of the matter is, if the Rooneys were moving in that type of way, I think it would be it would be best for them to move him now, because even though you still have that love affair with him because of everything that he's done for that team, fact of the matter is, you can get so much more for him right now in this moment versus if he was to come back from the Tommy John surgery. He's stinking it up, and now instead of getting like maybe like, I don't know, a second or a third or something like that, you're getting like a fifth and whatever else. So I think that's what should happen. But what will happen, like you say, I think it all hangs on on the production of Mason Rudolph and what he does this upcoming season. I think that if the Steelers find a way to make it into the playoffs, I think if the front office doesn't do it, Big Ben's going to look at it like, it's about that time. It's about that time. I'm going to have to take a bow out.
I wouldn't be surprised, because this is the same situation that happened with Troy Polamalu. Because when it was coming at the end, Polamalu still wanted to play, and the Steelers was like, we not about to resign you. And then I can't remember if there's a situation where he's like, well, trade me, and the Steelers like, nah, we're not doing that. So it's either you retire, or we about to just sit over here and just stare at each other for some time. So Polamalu ended up retiring. They don't have the best relationship right now, but slowly getting better over the years. The James Harrison situation, he has they didn't want to have to let him go. The problem was communication, in my opinion. I felt as if Tomlin did Harrison a disservice, and that was one of the very first times where I stopped saying, "Yo, Tomlin, you wildin'," because I understand how good Harrison was. Now, he's not who he once was, but don't tell the man you about to have him playing a number of snaps and then you just, for this game, you're in rotation. And when we play against the Chiefs, you get full game sort of situationship, and then out of everything else, you playing against Baltimore, you see in one snap, or you just in close, you're not playing. So don't do that. But ultimately, I agree with you. I think if they wanted to trade, then they could make that trade. I would feel a way about it because of what he, was to the organization. But business, football-wise, it's smart. You would trade
emotionally, they're not going to let it happen, though, like I said. And I don't expect it to happen, but it would be great. But there is another quarterback who has a bit of an emotional connection to his team as well, a Mr. Drew Brees. Now, I believe what happened with something with his thumb or his wrist or something like that.
His thumb, I believe it was.
There you go, because I think it was because of the Aaron Donald situation.
Aaron Donald's high five.
Hilarious. Aaron Donald. He's going to be out for, I thought initially going into it was going to be 6 weeks. You're saying now that it might be longer because they're
it could possibly be shorter. According to Sean Payton, because he said, they got to get a second opinion. But I do believe it's going to be 6 weeks at the minimum. Okay,
got you. So for what are your initial thoughts on how him and the team are going to do moving forward?
For Drew Brees, since he's going to return back, they just need the Saints to hold on.
Got you.
And play good football. Because right now, I believe they're going to go to Los Angeles and play against the Chargers. So that's going to be interesting how that's going to play out without Drew Brees at the helm. Now, I think the team can still succeed with Taysom Hill less than with Bridgewater, because the Saints offense is very dependent on the quarterback. So if I was them, I would look behind me to the dreadlocks monster that is Alvin Shinsuke Nakamura and give him the damn ball. Now, that doesn't mean, hey, don't throw the ball, because you still got that $100 million man in Michael Thomas as well. But don't try to don't play the Saints offense the same way that Brad Stevens runs the Celtics.
Right.
Don't have it to where it's, oh, well, if this person comes out, the next person who goes in does your same sort of responsibilities. You play the same role. Don't do that.
Right.
Don't force Teddy Bridgewater to try to be Drew Brees.
Right.
Because that's what I saw this past Sunday against the Rams.
Okay.
So I think they'll be all right if they can just go 500.
Yeah.
Drew Brees can come back. But I don't know if Drew Brees is going to play the same way that he did throughout 12 weeks of last season. Who knows? He still is 40. So it could take longer for this man to come back and play well. But ultimately, I think the Saints, they'll be fine. Drew Brees can play for however many of years that he wants to play.
Right.
Because whether he's there or not, the Saints, they're gonna need him.
Right.
So if he's there, they need him. If he's not there, they need him.
Most definitely. Just once again, we're on the same page with that. But fact of the matter is, look, the man is 40, right? So he's still producing at a high level. So I put him and Big Ben, like I said, they're still the older guys that are still of that elite class. They're still producing. They still are the focal point of that team. The team only goes as far as they take them, right? But the man is 40. Now, last season, and I think even the season before that, you did hear talks about Sean Payton getting ready to looking into like the Dallas job. He vehemently denied it and things of that nature. But I think that he's gonna come back from his injury. I think he's gonna come back from his injury. He's gonna be fine, right? I think I heard something about a report where he was even questioning if he was gonna come back to play this season. Something along those lines.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but fact of the matter is, I think that it all depends on what happens when he comes back. This is a Super Bowl contending team, right? We can go all the way back to last year and say that if the Nickel Roby situation didn't happen, they probably would have been ones playing in the Super Bowl, and then you could do a coin toss from there, whatever it is. But the fact is, this is a Super Bowl contending team right now. And I think that if the Saints, when he comes back, if they're able to rally around him, they go on a run, they make it to the Super Bowl, and they win, I think this will be the last season that we see Drew Brees playing. I think that that's initially the only reason why he's still playing. If he was to go out and win the Super Bowl this year, I think that for him it's like, all right, I'm done. I'm gonna go out on top. That'll be it. And then we'll see Sean Payton go, whatever the case may be. But the man's 40. He's still producing. He's still one of the most accurate passers of the football that we've ever seen. Right. So I think they're gonna be fine.
I agree.
Yeah. But then now another question arrives from it. Right. I think we need to discuss, of all the injuries that we've discussed, which team is affected the most and the least by it, right? We'll start off with the most. For you personally, what team do you think of those three is going to be affected the most from their quarterbacks being injured?
I'd have to say the Steelers.
Okay.
Because it's so reliant on Big Ben's, his improv while he's there. Because you've never seen another quarterback who comes in outside of really just Charlie Batch on that Steelers teams that's been able to come in and hold their own. And because everything's so attached to him and he's been that staple there, now knowing that he's going to be out for a season, because I think the longest he's probably been out was 4 games or 5 games.
Really?
Yeah, because it's never been that long of a time. But maybe 6 in 2000. Maybe 6 in 2009 after their second Super Bowl. But he's been there. So now you got a young guy who's coming in and you don't know what he truly brings to that table yet. And on top of that, dealing with everything from the offseason, the expectations of this season. Because in Pittsburgh, it's Super Bowl or bust every single year. Every single year. It's Pittsburgh, Dallas, New England, now New Orleans,
the Chiefs,
Kansas City, yes, and certain teams, it's always Super Bowl or bust, and their fan bases. Well, if we didn't win the Super Bowl, if we didn't win the Lombardi, if we didn't lose in that game, we're trash.
Yeah.
So people don't really look at the big picture. They're very short term. Hey, what have you done now? So I would say Pittsburgh.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. I think that Pittsburgh, this is gonna affect Pittsburgh the most. One, because unlike Cam and unlike Drew, Big Ben is out for the season, right? Yeah. So there's that. But then also because now the 3 most important players on the offensive side of the ball are all unproven, right? Yeah. You have a Juju Smith-Schuster. You heard all the talk all year last year is that, yeah, he's producing, but he's only getting the numbers that he's getting because AB's on the other side of the field, right? Now he comes into this season, he's the number 1 wide receiver, and we look at the stats he's put up in his last games. In the first game against the New England Patriots, he had 6 receptions for 78 yards. Second game, he had 5 receptions for 84 yards, no touchdowns, right? So it's something there, but that's just not going to cut it for the number one wide receiver on the team,
Yeah.
right? Then you have a guy in James Conner, also had a stellar season last year. But all the talk last year was what? He's not Le'Veon. He's not Le'Veon. He's not Le'Veon. Next year comes, what does he do in the first 2 games? I think against the New England Patriots, he had 10 carries for 21 yards. Second game, he had 11 carries for 33 yards and a TD. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable, right? And then you have a guy in Mason Rudolph. Now, Mason Rudolph, even though he came in a little bit later in the game, he held it down.
Yeah, he did.
He looked solid, which was why I was a little surprised that people were ready to just throw the season out. You know what I'm saying? I think he had
12 for 19,
Yeah.
112.
I think he had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, right?
And it was 2 touchdowns and 1 Moncrief.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
We could get into that after. But now, like I said, the 3 most important players on the offensive side of the ball are now unproven, right? So I think that this, and also the pressure is even added onto Mike Tomlin, right? Because all the talk is now, well, like you said, every year is Super Bowl contention. I think even with Big Ben being out for the season, me personally, I still put him in there, not necessarily as a Super Bowl contender, but they still have an opportunity to make it into the playoffs.
I agree.
It's all on these 3 players to step their game up, right? Mason Rudolph has to produce. Juju Smith-Schuster has to step it up, and James Conner just has to play better. So I think right now it falls on the shoulders of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But now, if that's the team that's affected the most by it, what would you say is the team that's affected the least by their quarterback not being there?
Probably the Carolina Panthers.
Really?
I'd say the Panthers. I would love to say the Saints, but since the Saints, they don't have a question as of, can we have this as our quarterback moving forward?
Right.
They know when Drew Brees comes back, he's the quarterback.
Right.
Cam Newton is still playing,
right?
And their questions, is he still our quarterback? So I'd say that, because is Will Grier going to be the proper successor? Do we know? He hasn't gotten the snaps. We've seen Taysom Hill.
Right.
We've seen him throw. We've seen him used as an athlete.
Right.
You have Teddy Bridgewater. He's been a Pro Bowler.
Right.
Now, is he still the same player? We're not sure. But they at least have some candidates.
Right.
The Panthers, there's just a ton of unknown. Do we want to stay with Cam? Do we not want to stay with Cam? Do we want to use the backup? Do we not want to use the backup?
Right.
Is he just hurt or is he healthy? So there's a ton of questions. There's a lot of ambiguity in Carolina. That's why I'd say they're I'm
gonna disagree with you on that and actually go with the Saints. I feel like it affects them the least, just for the simple fact that when you look at the Carolina Panthers, I don't think there were any expectations that they were going to make it into the playoffs. The NFC South goes through the Atlanta Falcons and also the New Orleans Saints, right? And for me, given that, like we keep saying, that Drew Brees is going to be out for 6 weeks, if anything less great, when you look at the games that they have to play within those next 6 weeks, you got at Seattle, Dallas at home, Tampa Bay at home, at Jacksonville, at Chicago, then Arizona at home. So they can win at least 3 of those games, right? You can go 500. Drew Brees will come back, and then boom, you'll be able to make a run at the Super Bowl. So for me, I feel like and then they have a bye right after that, right? So for me, I think that this is a team that's still in position, even though he's going to be out for those next couple of weeks.
You know what? You are right. I feel like as if listening to my argument.
I see you looking around. You're like, wait.
Listening to my argument, I'm like, you know what? I think I kind of said the wrong team. Yeah,
right.
I made the argument for myself.
Right, hilarious.
Yeah, I kind of made the argument. Well, I should say I made the argument for you.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
I think that the Saints have the least amount of worries moving forward. And on top of that, when you think about it, like you said, this is a team with a bunch of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. You have Taysom Hill, who motherfucker can do it all, right?
Athlete.
Taysom Hill. You have Michael Thomas, who just got paid.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a player in Alvin Kamara, one of the more dynamic backs in the league right now. All Teddy Bridgewater has to do is be efficient on third down and don't turn the ball over.
Pretty much.
Let the playmakers do it. I feel like within these next couple of weeks, you're going to definitely see Alvin Kamara's production step up, right? And you're going to see a lot of more plays out of the backfield and things like that, setting up things for him to be effective along with Taysom Hill as well. It's a no-brainer for me. I think that the team that has the least to worry about is the Saints, because I think that once Drew Brees comes back, if they handle business and they get it done, right, and they're able to stay at least 500 within these next 6 weeks, if he's not back any earlier than that, they'll still be in a position to make it to the playoffs.
But the one thing that they have to make sure that they keep is confidence.
Okay.
Because they've got to make sure that they're confident in their team and who they have in order to, go out and win.
Right.
Similar to where we're moving now to where my team with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Now, am I confident that they'll be able to do, still go out there, duke it out,
right,
and get some W's? Right. I believe they can. I think they still got a chance. Not to downplay what's going on in the division,
right,
but every year Baltimore has a series of games in which they end up losing.
Right.
They have a streak in which they begin to lose.
Right.
Now, teams are always creatures of habit.
Right.
It happens. I don't know when that time will come.
Mm-hmm.
They're riding on a very high right now with Lamar Jackson playing out of his mind.
Right.
But Pittsburgh has always found a way to rally around whoever's there and win games. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. He started out 0-4 in 2013 and still came within a field goal in Kansas City from going to the playoffs. Never had a losing season. Pittsburgh overall has not had a losing season since 2003. So I have confidence in this group to at least get 9 games. I don't think Mason Rudolph by himself will go and get games because Ben Roethlisberger can get you 6 games by himself.
Right.
Against Jacksonville, you saw Ben Roethlisberger show why the hell why he is who he is last year and brought them back down from 16-0. So I would hope Mason can go out and do it, but I haven't lost confidence in my team. I think they'll still be able to at least put themselves in a position to where they can own their own destiny, and if they fall short, then by all means, okay. But I don't think it's going to be one of them 5-11, 6-10 seasons.
I don't think so either, and that's why, once again, going back to it, it was funny to me to see how many people counted the Pittsburgh Steelers out. It's too early to say, man. We got to see how things play out, because not only do we see a player in Mason Rudolph who's not stepping up and getting the chance to show what he can do, you also had another move that was made, right? Minka Fitzpatrick was now added to the team, and I'll let you speak on that and what you think it'll do for the defense and et cetera, et cetera. But the fact of the matter is this, man. The talent is there.
Oh, yeah.
Defensively, I don't know, but offensively, the talent is there. Juju Smith-Schuster can ball. We saw what James Conner can do. It's up to them to show up and show out. You understand? In fact, that's really what it comes down to. And oh, by the way, another thing I want to talk about is it's going to be really interesting to see how Mike Tomlin puts this all together moving forward. Because, and I know you've heard it too, but for the longest, people they kind of challenged him in this way just because they kind of talked about, well, he inherited Big Ben. Big Ben wasn't really his quarterback, right? It was dude's name, Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher's quarterback, right? So now we're going to see a guy who he had, like, I want him. I want this guy, right? And we're going to see how Mason Rudolph steps up to the plate and produces and is productive for this team. But I think it's way too soon to count them out. But if we are talking about quarterbacks, we talked about injuries, we talked about all the other things that were taking place in terms of quarterbacks being injured and being out for a certain amount of time. There is a name that has been floating around to come back into the league that a lot of people are curious about, and his name is Colin Kaepernick, right? Colin Kaepernick, who's been removed now from the league for, I believe, 3-4 years, something crazy like that.
Yeah, 3 years.
And now,
2 years.
Now there's talks. You hear his girlfriend Nessa Diab talking about son works out 5-6 days a week, every day, 3 hours a day. He's ready. He's waiting for his agent is making calls. He's not getting the call return. The Jets he's interested in the Jets, the Saints. I think who else? I think the Pittsburgh Steelers was also in the mix as well. I see you shaking your head, so I'm going to ask the question even though I feel like I already know the answer, man. Will we finally now, this season, given all the Andrew Luck gone, fucking Big Ben out, Drew Brees, Sam Darnold got mono, the kissing disease, all this other stuff, will we finally see Colin Kaepernick get his shot playing in the NFL again, man?
If it ain't the Jets, it ain't nowhere. So bottom line is this month, he ain't going nowhere. As for his girl, when Nessa talking about, he doing all that, well, welcome to the life of an NFL free agent. All right? That's just what you do.
Right.
You got to stay ready so you don't got to get ready.
Right.
Now, in his case, it's too much of, if you sign him, the amount of attention that's going to come, what team is going to be willing with that when you're trying to focus on football?
Right.
Now, is this guy going to get signed and come in and try to make a statement, or is he just going to come inside and try to win ball games?
Right.
So there's so many questions about that. Now, he said every single time he takes things, I'm willing to be a backup. Great. So if you do get signed as that, be prepared to actually live life as a backup and work your way up.
Right.
The problem is all these teams that are thrown into the mix, it's time to sign him, they don't have a quarterback to where this guy will walk right in and then battle to try to take the starting job. But when you play quarterback, you have to know everything.
Right.
So I think if he's truly willing to be a backup, maybe. But because of all the talking heads around him and what comes with signing him, I don't see it happening. And he's been out the game for so long, and you're playing the quarterback position.
Right.
It's extremely tough, especially when you're pressured from the outside to make sure he's on the field.
I think that I don't see it happening either. Now, if it did happen, I do think that, like he said, he is willing to take the backup quarterback position. You got to remember, this is a guy who he has a big arm, but he's known more for his ability to create plays using his legs versus his arm, right? Instead of his arm, excuse me. So this is a guy who would be able to come in and be efficient if his number was called and he had to step up and come play a game. But still, at the same time, the fact of the matter is, you played in the NFL. This is some of the greatest athletes in the world. You've been removed from the game for at least 3-4 years. I don't give a fuck how much you work out. The fact of the matter is, you're away from the game for that long. It's gonna show. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, it would be nice in a perfect world to see him get another shot at playing in the NFL again. But the fact of the matter is, I don't see it happening. And then also on top of that, for me, it's like, I don't think it would be a good idea just for the simple fact that, and this goes back to my OBJ argument that I made last week. This is a very team-oriented game, right? And for me, everybody and their grandmother knows the minute Colin Kaepernick signs with a football team, it's going to be all about him and have nothing to do with what really matters, which is winning football games. It's going to seep into the locker room, and all media is going to be asking each and every single one of the players is questions about what's going on. How's Colin Kaepernick? You're going to have fans that are going to be literally sitting there waiting to see this man playing football. And if not, every single camera is going to be on him. Fuck the football game. What's up with Colin? Given everything that's transpired off the field. So personally, I don't think it would be good for a football team. Good for a football team. And then also on top of that, if you're Colin Kaepernick, why do you even want to play in the league anyways? These people blackballed you out of the league. You just finished putting up a lawsuit against them. Like, for me personally, I don't get it. I understand he still probably has a love for the game. That I get. Cool, great. But for this league that you just took to court, what exactly it is? It just doesn't make sense.
It makes me think of the Joker. I just think of, it's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
Yeah.
That's it. Because you could go to the CFL. You can go to Mexico. Go play in the MFL. All right. Go to Australia. I don't know if they got an actual league, but go to Australia. Play in the Aussie league. Go to somewhere.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh no, it's weird, man.
But we're gonna keep it quarterback based. Going back to your division in the AFC North. We got two young quarterbacks on the rise, man. Bake me a cake, Baker. All right, I'm stumbling and fucking up.
You could have just went with Cleveland pastry chef.
There you go. Cleveland pastry chef Baker Mayfield and your boy Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. These two, Baker's been a little bit shaky, but Lamar himself is off to a hot start. But the fact of the matter is, these are two young, promising QBs within their division looking to make some headlines and do some damage in the league for years to come. I gotta ask you personally. This is the division where your favorite team resides, and this might be a little bit of a weird question for you, but I still gotta ask. Of those two, if you had to look at them individually, if you could choose one of them to be the starting quarterback for your team that you're putting together, would you rather have Baker Mayfield or Lamar Jackson?
I would rather have Baker Mayfield because there's not a question of him throwing the ball, but there's a question of him taking care of the football.
There you go.
Because I think since his first start, nobody has more interceptions than him, and or I should say turnovers than him. But I have no question as to his bravado, knowing that he wants to win, knowing that he's going to be willing to throw the ball, and there's no question marks to that. Now with Lamar, he's showed the first two games. However, Ryan Leaf had a first good 2 games, and then he fell off the cliff. So how consistent is Lamar Jackson moving forward? But I do love the fact that Lamar can run, but can he pass from the pocket? Baker Mayfield doesn't have a good offensive line to truly, go out there and protect him. So I think if I was picking one of those quarterbacks to come to the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, I'm taking Baker.
I'm rolling with Baker Mayfield as well. Here's the deal. Just to piggyback off your point, once again, there's never really been questions about Baker Mayfield's ability all around. This guy has big arm. He can put it down the field. He's a great leader. His players, the team rallies around him. Cleveland seems to just love this guy, right? Now with Lamar Jackson, as we know, not all year long, because he did come in later on in the season once Flacco got hurt. There was questions about his ability to throw the ball, and to a certain degree, he got exposed in the playoffs.
He did.
Right? It was absolutely terrible. Now he comes into this season, looks new and improved. I think in his first 2 games, he's throwing for 71%. That's his completion percentage. Nearly 600 yards, 7 touchdowns with no interceptions.
No interceptions.
Now that's nothing to sneeze at.
Don't forget the passer rating.
Oh, I think it's like a perfect passer rating.
Yeah,
right?
It's in the 150.
Right, it's up there, and that's nothing to sneeze at. But for me, and especially in a case like this, it's not just about what you do. It's about who you're doing it against. And the fact of the matter is, I don't want to take anything away from Lamar Jackson, but you did it against the worst two teams in the NFL, in the Miami Dolphins, and then in the Arizona
worst
Cardinals.
team of last year against the worst team that was going to be this year's.
Back to back. So to a certain degree, once again, not to take anything away from him, but it's almost kind of expected of him to perform like this in front of teams like that. I think next week they go up against Kansas City. Right?
In Kansas City.
Right. So that's going to be a real litmus test of how good has your passing really gotten, right? But if, like I said, if you're talking about individual talents, I mean, man, Baker Mayfield, if Lamar stays on this trajectory, then you know what, I'm going to roll with Lamar. But we have yet to see it. So I'm going to go off of what I know, and what I know is that Baker Mayfield, there's never been any questions about his game. Like you said, there are some questions about his ability to take care of the football. I think right now he's in a bit of a weird situation within Cleveland because now he has two number one wide receivers, right? And he's trying to find a way to cater to them both. It seems like he's kind of playing out of himself to make those guys around him happy, and that's going to have to change. And I think that will change as the season progresses. He's going to snap out of it and go back to being what we saw him to be last year. But the fact of the matter is, man, if you ask me, I'm going to go real big.
So I'd ask you inside of your own division.
Oh, come on! Go ahead, ask the question, man. Ask the question. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
All right, see, Randall Cunningham or Torrey Aikman?
No, that's not the question.
Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott. I would take Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is such a talent. This man's ability
you disgust me
to
be
mobile.
You make me sick.
To get the ball down the field.
Go ahead, talk your talk.
It's extremely
come on, man.
Appealing as a football fan to watch this man play the game of quarterback. If you saw this past Sunday night, just the strength to stay up while he was headed to the floor. He may be made of glass, but I think if they put him in the right sort of chamber and they take care of him, he'll be able to play longer. But if we're talking quarterbacks, I would have to choose Carson Wentz. Although, availability is the best sort of trait in football, and the guy in Dallas, he's always available. But of the two, if we're talking about, hey, I needed to pick a quarterback to go to my franchise right now, I would have to choose Carson Wentz. Now, how about yourself? Who you choosing? You choosing Carson Wentz or Zach? Was it Zach?
Are you done?
Yeah,
are you done? Are you done?
Yeah, which one?
Are you finished or are you done? Is it my turn to speak? Is it my turn to speak? Can I talk? A big Dak, a big Zeke, a big and a big. Let me. Because you disrespect. You acting like this. You understand? Because you know it's gonna grind my gears. I don't like when you talk like this. I really don't. Because it's disrespect. I don't even know how you say the crowd. In fact, man, you fucking up right now. You fucking up because you chose the wrong answer. You know who it is. You know who I'm going to choose. Why? Who put this? Matt, read this. What to say? What to say on the paper? What did I say?
It says big.
A big Dak. A big like. I'm losing my breath. Let me explain something to you. I'm rolling with my guy D. Prezi Dak Prescott. Fact of the matter is this: do I think Carson Wentz is more talented? Without like the eye test tells you, he's definitely more talented. But the fact of the matter is, we in this business to win football games, right? I don't think we've ever stop. Please, I let you speak. Let me speak. I don't think we've ever seen Carson Wentz do it on the biggest stage. We just haven't. I don't think we've seen Carson Wentz do it in the postseason. He was too busy at home. My leg. You understand? Hurt. In Glass Man McGee. That's what we're going to call him. Fuck Carson Wentz. Glass Man McGee. The man, he's a walking injury waiting to happen. Not my guy, though. My guy don't miss games. My guy is Mr. Durable. That's why I call him Big Dak. You understand? So I'm going to roll with my guy because the best ability is availability, and my guy's been available. And we've seen what Dak Prescott can do in the postseason. I haven't seen Carson Wentz do it in the postseason. Why am I going to pick a guy that I don't know if he can win for me when it matters the most, people? It don't make no sense to me. I'm going to go with my guy. You want to know why else I'm going with my guy? Because I think right now in the season, Dak Prescott in his first two games, albeit against two bad teams, I'll give that to you, in the Giants and the Redskins, right? But it's still two back-to-back division wins, people. And I think he's at 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. I don't have the stats in front of me, unfortunately. I think Carson Wentz got like, wait. It don't matter. It don't even matter because my guy, and I think Dak is throwing for like over 70% for completion rate. Stop playing with my quarterback. This was quarterback. You understand? That's my quarterback. I'm going with Big Dak. All right, you understand? Because ain't no other question about it. That's my geyser. Dak, if you're watching it, because he's a fan of the podcast, I don't know if you know. He actually hit me up about it. I can't show you the message to my phone. It's locked. Dak, if you watch the podcast, you already know what it is, bro. You know the vibes. Send a jet out for me this Saturday so I can make it to the game on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be in the stands supporting you, my guy. And on like, what are we talking about here? What's the discussion? Ain't no discussion. Let me tell you what's about to happen. You understand? And this don't even have nothing. Let me get rid of this. We don't even need all this. Yeah. Show done. So I'm going to just talk my shit. You understand? Show done. Party done. Dak Prescott is going to do what he's been doing. He's going to win another divisional crown. You understand? We're not going to play in the wild card round this time because we won't get that number 2 seed. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to win in the divisional. We're going to win in the conference finals. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. We're going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs 16-0. We're going to get another championship. You're going to send me a ring because I'm an honorary member of the team. You got me sweating. You got me sweating. And we're going to do what we do every year. We're going to catch bodies. We got Dak. We got Zeke. We got Jalen. Amari. Man, Ashton. We got me. We going to the Super Bowl. And that's it. Don't say nothing. The show over. Maybe if you want to talk. It doesn't matter what you have to say. Stop speaking to me.
What's wrong with this?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with him?
Let me ask you a question.
Answer the question.
I'm asking you a question that we can wrap it up.
All right.
Do you use a toothpick or do you floss when you get the Dallas nutsack?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Nonetheless, or that pubic Dallas Cowboy hair in this man's mouth. But nonetheless, I see confidence in the man's team, but he's still one of them players, all right? You're still one of them individuals because if you're looking for SpongeBob on the field, you got him off Glover. Why? Because we get thick.
Yep.
We get thick.
Yep.
Amari Cooper.
Go ahead.
Mendes.
Yes.
Jalen Smith.
Say it.
Tank Lawrence.
Yep.
Randall Cobb.
We had Gallup, but he's out. We had
Yeah,
Gallup.
he out. He got hurt.
Yeah.
We got Jason Witten.
Yes.
Jerry Jones.
Yes, we do. Steven Jones.
Skip Bayless on commentary.
Marv Glover, natural born lover.
Michael Irvin, an analyst.
This is your boy.
Troy Aikman on commentary. There's one more. You know who? That old quarterback. Tony Romo on commentary. We them boys.
And that concludes episode
We going to the Super Bowl.
number 9 of the Hold My Nuggets podcast. As per usual, I am Marv Glover.
I'm the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual. The Chiseled Adonis with this horseshit Cowboys fan. Nonetheless, on the podcast,
yes, sir.
Evidently, I'd love to say we talk. Well, we do talk 50% sports.
50% real shit.
I believe we talk 50% real shit, but the whole rant this man went on was nothing but a genjutsu. But for the sake of the damn podcast, we about to say it together in unison. We talk what?
50% sports, 50% real shit, 100% of the time. And if you don't like that, you can hold my nuggets.
Suck my dick.
Thank you. Good night.